As a child, I was often told to have patience, to wait my turn. But as a child, I quickly learned that my turn often never came. I think we learn that as women. So I learned you have to push for what you want, or else it's not going to come to you. I've also learned that nice girls wait. Nice girls have patience. As girls and women, we are often encouraged to wait, often encouraged by women as well as men. Waiting patiently does not move us forward as women. It does not help us achieve our highest potential, and it robs the future generations of the opportunity to build on the next foundation. It makes us status quo, so we're not moving forward. In high school, I told the guidance counselor I wanted to be an engineer. And he said, "But Pam, you're a very talented violin player. Why don't you go to school as a music major?" So I did. Music, and I snuck in pre-engineering. I waited. I waited to move to the university. I waited a whole year before I had the courage to tell people what I really wanted to do was to be an engineer. After engineering school, I moved to Colorado. I got married and I got pregnant before I got my first engineering job. It was the early 90s. This was a deal breaker. It was. People said to me things like, "Oh man, you should have waited." Or, "I'm so sorry, you're never going to get to be an engineer now," right? I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all. I was never going to have less responsibility in my career than I had at that moment in time because I was determined to be somebody. Therefore, there was no reason to wait to have my life. I was advised to wait before I even went and got that first job. I mean, after all, you're pregnant. You should wait. Just get a job in food service with your engineering degree, right? Well, I did find a job in engineering while I was pregnant with no experience. Now, I got paid $5 an hour, so the same as food service, but it did give me time towards my license, so it helped move me further along in my career. And it was humbling, but that's another story. When I moved back to Nebraska, I began working for a large engineering firm. On the first day, one of the managers told me there was no such thing as too aggressive for an engineer. But I quickly learned there was such a thing as too aggressive for a woman engineer. I quickly learned that I was expected to wait. I was expected to wait to speak at meetings. I was expected to wait for my clerical work to be done. After all, I was being held back by other women there, right? How humbling is that? And I was expected to wait to be assigned staff for my projects. And when male counterparts pushed, they were rewarded. But when I pushed, I was punished for not being nice. It was April Fool's Day, 2003. April Fool's Day. I walked into the CEO's office and I laid down a letter I had wrote 50 times, and it was a resignation letter because I was done waiting. April Fool's Day. No one was laughing. No one was laughing. His response, "I wish you could be more patient. I wish you could wait." Of course, the story really hadn't started here. I had patiently waited for my turn. I'd put in my time. I'd worked for 7 years. 7 years on average, 60 hours a week as a single mother with 2 babies. 7 years. And the company had made me promises. Promises that if I was willing to wait, that next promotion would come, that next opportunity. But I was done with that. And I had asked, "How long am I going to have to wait?" And the response was, "Years, if ever." Years, if ever. I'm not interested in waiting forever for my opportunity. I never have been. Although I was greatly saddened by this news, I've always been thankful that they told me honestly. When I went to acquire my engineering company, I went to a bank. I had $100,000 in equity in my house. I had a great business background. I had assets saved up, and I was denied that loan. I was told I needed to wait. But a male counterpart who had an apartment and tons of credit card debt, well, he got hundreds of thousands of dollars to start his engineering company, right? Needless to say, I didn't wait. Cornerstone Bank didn't think I should wait. In fact, even today, they still finance 2 of my companies, right? The promises you make to yourself are the hardest to keep. We all know that humbly. I had wanted to run for office. I'd wanted to do it for over 10 years. I'd repeatedly told myself that I needed to wait. Wait until your kids are out of high school. Wait until you have more time. Wait until your life is more together. In October of 2013, I paused before submitting my application for appointment to Lancaster County Engineer. I paused with my finger on the button, wondering if I should wait just a little bit longer. After all, I had a business that was finally making money with the new economy, right? I had a son who was a junior in high school, and I had dishes in the sink, right? And we all know as women that dishes in the sink should wait. I mean, everything waits until the dishes in the sink are done, right? Yet this was my dream. I rubbed my finger over the key, pausing, and I firmly pressed it down all the way. The appointment quickly led to a campaign, which was like climbing a mountain. I was surprised recently when the former Governor Heinemann's public information officer referred to my campaign as one of the most sexist she'd ever seen. My days contained the most amazing things, from the barista at the coffee shop who gave me her $10 in tips for the day for my campaign, to a fellow peer woman engineer who wrote me a check for $2,000 with a sticky note on it that said, "Find your inner bitch and win." Right? But here's the deal. Here's the deal. This race wasn't about me. This race was about the awesome women of Lancaster County. The awesome women of Lancaster County who had waited patiently for change, for someone to lay out the next foundation upon which to build on. As women, we wait. We wait for that perfect time to have a family, to start a business. We wait to take that big risk for that next big job. We wait putting the needs of others well in front of our own. But I think we need to ask ourselves, does that really serve us? Does it even serve our families to bring home less or have less opportunities? I'm not interested in waiting. I'm not. And I don't think any of you should be either.